Well, hello. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be working on the engine again. It's the Continental W670, and it was originally an airplane engine. And today what we're going to be working on is starting with step 30. We're going to be adding some of the exhaust manifold parts. And then we'll get into 31, which is the air intake pipes. And then 32 is about the mounting of this engine in the engine bay. And what follows after that is a bunch of little parts that make up the electrical systems. And also we'll get into some of the air filters and stuff like that. So let's get underway here. So yeah, first of all, I'm taking a look here at installing the parts that make up the exhaust manifold. Now you can see these are pretty shiny and bright.
That's not working. All right, so maybe that's got to go over here.
Apparently, after a minimal amount of time of running this engine, those things would no longer be so shiny. So
yeah, there you go.
Most likely, yes, revisiting these exhaust pipes and giving them a little bit of a rusty look.
All right.
My idea for this kit, this build, was that this is not a very old piece of machinery, and so maybe it's not totally thrashed yet.
All right, go. I mean, I'll eventually learn. These must be the exhaust. CA33 is right there. Now we are on part 31. I've caught up. So on part 30 we stuck those on. And now we're doing part 31. We got these parts here. And this part is CA33, and it goes steel. And this is, let's see, it goes like that. And then this goes like that. I don't know. They've kind of got it wrong in the drawing from what I can tell. Oh no, maybe it's that way? Yeah, I've got it wrong again. So that goes like that. So the placement of this thing is not that obvious, but there's a little slot there where that goes, and that makes it pretty easy to line up over on this side. It's a bit tricky. So here it is. Let me just talk about it a little bit. Everything is pretty good. I don't like the green on the gas can because it's so dark. I think I might redo it. This is also too dark. But it's not coming off. Maybe I'll just leave that one. This should have been red, I think, next time. These should have been black. I should have used the pin wash before I glued these on. And I also should have done the decals before I glued them on. I should have done this before I glued everything on. And these hoses, they should be black or olive drab, whatever they're calling for. I guess I was getting confused with number 2 and number 5. So maybe it's supposed to be black hoses. Oh well. But now what I'm going to do is, these are the side pieces. I've applied the decals. So now I'm going to do what I should have done on the other one, is done a little bit of the pin washing before I glue it in. and maybe adding some dust to the bottom. So what I want to do is use this stuff. I've got a little ball bearing in there, helps the mixing, and I just want to take a little bit of this. Way too much. Oh well. Then I'm going to take a brush, and I've got some paint thinner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this on here before I put the just pre-wet it a little bit. I'm pretty sure this kit has been developed in a 3D printing process. You can almost see the striations here. I noticed that on some of the interior boxes as well. So I really don't want this to be too strong. Don't like that. So I'm just going to use a little paper towel. Take off some of this. What the? Why did that all come off? Oh, the box came off. Oh well. I thought maybe I'd strip the paint somehow. But this is an enamel oil-based thinner on a lacquer paint, so it shouldn't really reactivate it. And it's had a couple of days to dry, so that shouldn't be a problem. Now I may have to go back with another pin wash here and there because it seems to be removing a lot more than perhaps I'd like in some areas. So the white did get discolored a little bit, but it's looking okay. we've got these, I'm not sure if they're air filters or what the heck they are, but they have to, the seam needs to get cleaned. I'm going to repaint the ammo cans with a brighter green. All right, so looking at the instructions, step 31 is attaching this pipage. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's exhaust or intake or neither. I have no idea. So that glues into there. If I can get it through that loop. So you can see there's a little blip here. And that goes in there. So that goes in there. All right. There we go. So I'll have to come back. This goes a steel color, this little part here. So I'll have to come back and paint that. But you know, looking at reference photographs, this is all pretty shiny and new compared to what it might be like. Like it might be all rusty. All right. Okay, that part is in there now. So yeah, this has got to go steel color. Okay, so I'm going to paint this aluminum, this part. And let's see, what other part? This part goes aluminum. You know, I've seen different pictures of this thing and it's black in some places, or just a, you know, a rusty dirt color. But how does that go on there? Just out of interest's sake. Goes like that? Yeah, like that. All right. So I'm going to mask that off and then paint that aluminum. I don't like painting with brush because it's just never as good as airbrushing. Okay, so I repainted this ammo box and I'm going to glue it in. And I'll come back and maybe give it a little bit of a wash or something. That's better. You can actually see some of the detail now. Before it was just looking kind of gross. Sure that's straight. Okay, so time to mask this off. The reason I glued it is because I wanted where it joins to be white. Like this part needed to be white. That was part of the frame. So if I painted it white, I mean aluminum, and then came back to paint it white, it might not have looked as good. But yeah, I could have painted this aluminum and then attached it and then masked it off and then painted the frame part white. But this is how I chose to do it. So now what else? Okay, this part has to go aluminum, and I don't know what else. CA12 needs to go aluminum. Did I already cut that off? Nope. These parts are pretty small. All right. So we'll get a little holder for that. Or maybe we'll put it on this double-sided tape. Yeah, that works better. So this goes aluminum, and CA35, did we already cut that off? Yep. Shoot, I don't know, is this it here? I'll have to look for it. I've got to put this one on. And you can see here, there's 4 mounting holes here and just 2 here. So it's pretty easy to line up. So I'm just going to put the glue on these parts. I need to get my stronger glasses to see what I'm doing here. There we go. Now that's a pretty secure fit. Like, I'll have to say that about the kit, is I find that everything fits pretty darn good. Oh, I moved it. think that's it. So I'm going to let that dry really well before I mess around with it anymore. So the idea is that that goes into there. Just like that. Like, I've seen somebody else building this and they seem to have a lot of trouble with it, but I don't know. It just seems really just simple to me. It just seems to fit properly. I don't know. And then what you would do is put the sides on. I don't know what that person's problem was, but I think often what happens is people maybe don't take enough time building something or whatever, but they end up blaming the kit when it's actually they're just not building it properly. Because I don't seem to be having any issues fitting this engine. With the two sides on, and the two sides go together very well. Although there is a bit of a hiccup there because of that box. Maybe I put the box in the wrong place or something. Oh, that's where it's supposed to go, right there. You can see these little tabs here. Like that goes, that should fit in that little tab. Like that. Like that. So maybe that's a good way to line things up, is to glue it against that wall. But as you can see, it's not really sticking. I need to give it time to harden up before I start messing around. Okay, you see there's a little slot here. And there's also this ledge that I'm going to glue this engine into at this point, because I just want everything to line up. I don't know where that, I guess that goes there. But yeah, once this is solid in here, it will give me the proper alignment for when I go to put it in to the chassis. Because I'm a little unsure about there's a stem that comes out here on this side that sits in the pocket of this thing. And I'm just not sure exactly how that works. So this will give me an opportunity to double check and cross-reference. But I have to glue it in and then let it settle. All right, guys, I'm going to show you something here in a little bit of a reverse order just to get my point across. So I fitted this engine in and it fits perfectly. You know, I've seen another build online where somebody's basically hacked some of the parts to make it fit, but you don't need to do that. It's been engineered to fit perfectly. So let me explain what I've done and what's worked for me. So I'm going to take this part off and this part. Well, no, I can't take this part off now. What I did, okay, what I've done is there's like, if you look on this one here, if you look on this one, there is a little slot here, okay? Now this little slot is meant to have this little tab insert into it. So that's the lining up of where the engine goes. Now what I've seen somebody do is they've cut this pin in here for some reason, and you don't need to do any cutting. This kit is perfectly good the way they've given it to us. There's no need to, you know, get out the chainsaw and start hacking things to make them fit. It fits. You just have to have a little bit of a strategy, a logic when you go about dealing with this stuff. So my idea was to glue this engine to this, right? So I'll show you. You see the engine is glued to this bulkhead right there. And there's these hoses that you've glued in before, and they can fit onto this box, no problem. You just have to use a pair of tweezers, move them in, and just go carefully. So that's my strategy, because these are the sort of like, these are the keys, I guess, or indexes for how to put that together. As you can see, there's two little pins, and everything just fits. Like, you don't even really need glue in a way. It's so, the tolerances are so good. So then once you glue that in like that, and make sure you let it dry overnight or whatever so it's firmly in there. And then what you can do is you can put that in there, and then once it's secure, you can come back in and put this one in. So there's no need to mess with this thing to make it fit. So let me demonstrate here. All right, so, all right. So now that side is in. Like that, you see? So then you come back with this one. Like, when I'm ready to glue this on, I'll glue it on securely and let it sit and cure so that it doesn't move. Then I can come back in here later, and you see there's excellent sort of like keying points here that are very easy to work with. I'm doing it on camera, so of course it's a little bit awkward, but so now what you got to make sure with this one is this little thing has to slot in like that, right? There we go. So then you glue that one into its slot. So there you go. And as you can see, everything is lined up here and it fits, right? So yeah, just take your time. They've thought of it all. They're not idiots. Anyways.
Hold it. Fire!
So I think I'm going to start with a gray. Really thin it down a lot.
All right, guys, I think we're going to call this one done, and hopefully you'll join us for episode 8 and continue in this journey with this wonderful kit from MiniArt. In the meantime and in between time, that's another edition of Jet Scale Models. Y'all come back now, you hear?